Good morning. Wasn't that amazing? Who would have ever thought hard? And it was awesome. All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm Pamela Bailey, the lead practitioner, and I have the distinct honor of introducing Keith Leon, who's our guest speaker, and he's going to give us some music as well today. And I've known Keith and his lovely wife Mara for some time, but I'd like to let you know that he is a multiple international best-selling author. He's a co-owner of a successful book publishing company, and he's an international speaker who's spoken at events that have included Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Neil Donald Walsh, Barbara DeAngelis, John Gray, Brian Tracy, and Marianne Williamson. He's appeared on many TV and radio shows, and his work has been covered by Inc. magazine and Huffington Post, just to name a few. Keith is a longtime member of Agape, a spiritual practitioner, an Agape International Choir member, and a soloist who has made music with Stevie Wonder, Ben Vereen, Nancy Wilson, Carl Anderson, Gloria Loring, Keb Mo, Daniel Nahmod, and the Wood Brothers. He's currently on an international book tour for his newly published book, Walking with My Angels. So please help me welcome Keith Leon.
Hey. Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go, got my timer. Well, it is an absolute pleasure and a blessing to be with you this morning. Quoting Ernest Holmes said, "There is a power in the universe greater than us, and we can use it." And I love the way he talked, and you can use it. I just love his voice. And so when I very first found this faith, which seems like 100 years ago now, and is at least 30, when I first found this faith, I was like, what does that mean? Like, what exactly does that mean? And I can use it. Power greater than me in the universe, and I can use it. What does that mean? So I started doing these classes. And as I did these religious science classes, Science of Mind 1, 2, and 3, I started to really get a sense of that. And more importantly, it encouraged me to take the tools and to go into my everyday life. And what I ended up doing was living to prove that the things that Jesus said were true. Living to prove that the things Ernest Holmes said were true. To be a walking, talking demonstration that those were not just words. That they were the laws of the universe and they were the truth. And so I stepped into that action. I want to live to prove that the things that they're saying are true. So what does that mean? In other words that we throw around a lot are made in the image and likeness of God. What does that mean? And that leads to my talk title today, which is All There Is God. All there is God. God is all there is. So again, what exactly does that mean? And what I loved about the classes was, and what I've learned over the years, and especially talking about angels, which we'll do later in the workshop, is it for some people to go from A to Z, right? Okay, so all there is God. Okay, I get it, right? To go from hearing that to believing it and being a walking, talking demonstration, most people can't just do like Genie from I Dream of Jeannie and blink their eyes and go from one point to the other. In order to do that, we have to take these little baby steps and do things like manifest a light change, manifest an extra $100 to pay that bill. You know where we started with those little baby steps. And all those little baby steps coming true and manifesting, for me, helps me then open my mind a little bit and start to change my subconscious mind, which is really what really runs the show, right? That subconscious mind. And so it had been trained by my parents and everybody when I was really young to believe that there was lack in the universe and a lot of things that were not positive. And so taking these little baby steps from A to B, and then B to C, and then C to D, instead of trying to jump all the way to Z, is how I got from where I was, which was, growing up not believing in a lot, to manifesting all the things that you heard in the bio that she read today. And every time I hear that, it brings me right back. Like if I have a day where I'm off, all I have to do is go to my website, open up, and look at my board of advisors, or read that bio, and I'm right back. I'm right back. That and a few breaths. And I can come right back to center, because I have manifested all those things using the tools that we learn in this incredible spiritual center. And so energy is God, you are energy. So right now, turn to the person next to you and say, hello, God. I am so glad you are here today. Thank you for being the gift of you. Thank you. And we are all a gift. So it's like, what can you believe? What will your mind allow you to believe? And I believe that the way to get there is to take those baby steps. And so, as I told you, when I took Science of Mind 1, what came out of that class was a song and a realization of the truth that I never had before that. So to ground this energy, I want to sing the song that was the gift coming out of Science of Mind 1, now called Foundational Course, Foundations class. This is really my story. There was a time in my life where I had blurred vision. I wasn't finding peace anywhere, and I certainly wasn't finding truth in religion. So one day I decided that I would sit in the silence in my room. And I vowed that I would stay there until something in me moved. Then I heard a voice. It was a still small voice, and this is what it said. God is here. God is here. No matter where I am, God is here. God is here. God is here. No matter where I am, God is here. Now I see God everywhere, a little more each day. I see God in the flowers and in the bills that I choose to pay. I'm feeling God in my breath, spoken with each word. Oh, I'm feeling God breathe its life into me. Let God's love be affirmed. Sing it with me now. God is here. God is here. No matter where I am, God is here. One more time. God is here. God is here. Sounds so good. No matter where I am, God is here. Well, there once was a wise man, and this is what he said. He said that God is good all of the time, and it's stuck in my head. So I said it as my mantra each and every day. I said it until I believed it. Now that's my life each and every day. Yes, I finally achieved it. And the angels sing, God is here. yes. Let's do it again. God is here in this very room. God is here as you know, no matter where I am. God is here, that's right. Take a breath. God is here, own it. God is here as you no matter where I am. God is here. Thank you. So yes, indeed, God is here in this very room, as me, as you. That's all there is God. That's all that's happening all the time. All God, all the time. And so when we work later with the workshop, Walking with My Angels, I have had direct experience with angels, and they have saved my life so many times. Like I should have died 8 times already, and I'm still walking the planet. And I've had miracles happen in front of my eyes, including time reversal to keep me on the planet. I've seen my life flash before my eyes. I've done all of that, and they kept saving me. Many of these happened as a child, while I was a child. And so I was in this question, why me? What am I here to do that is so great that I would be saved over and over again when others are not? What am I here to do? And so I was in that question for so many years. And in my early 20s, I got the answer because a man came to me, got to be a really good friend of mine, and then started to show me things that got me to trust him. And showed me more things to get me to trust him more. And then eventually shared with me that he was an earthbound angel. He was an etheric angel who was dropped into a body in the flesh, and that there are a group of angels called earthbound angels that go around and they're assigned to certain people, and I was one of those people. And he was supposed to take me from believing in nothing, which is really where I was at the time when we met, to believing in everything. Because in order for me to fulfill my purpose in life, I had to believe that all things were possible. And I had to know all there is God. I had to know all of these things. And so he taught me that these things were true, and then eventually ended up saving my life and revealing to me my life purpose, which is what I've been doing ever since. Living into that purpose that was revealed to me literally by an earthbound angel. So I use the word angels because I've had a direct experience with that. But you may call what I call angel intuition, inner guidance system. You may call it God, spirit, universe. I like to say it doesn't care what you call it as long as you call it. As long as you call it. And so that's the thing. There's a thing that I teach is called sit, ask, and listen. And so there's a lot of us sitting in meditation, right? A lot of us asking a lot of questions, but when we ask those questions, when do we really sit long enough to get the answer to that one question before we move on to the next myriad of questions? And so everything that I have manifested from that time that I've worked with my angel has been because of sit, ask, and more importantly, listen. That's the most important part. So I sit, I ask the questions, but then I stay in the one question until I get the answer to that one question. So I did a project, a book called Who Do You Think You Are? Discover the Purpose of Your Life. Forward by Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul Guy. 10 people from the movie The Secret said yes to be in that book. And I was like, Keith who then? That's who I was. And all these people said yes to be in this book because of the way that I asked, which I did not know how to do until I did the sit, ask, and listen process. So I said, how do I reach these famous people and make it so easy for them to say yes that they will say yes to me? And so I sat in that question for 2 weeks. And I didn't do anything but go to the bathroom and eat for those 2 weeks, waiting for that one answer. But when I downloaded that answer from Spirit and did exactly what I was told, I asked 80 people to be in that book and got 68 yeses from famous people, all that you would know. And of the 12 no's, it wasn't the person who said no, it was 10 of them, it was the publicist out of the 12 that said no. Like Ariana Huffington's book was coming out at the same time as mine. So she's like, no, you can't, she's not gonna be in there. So really I got 78 yeses out of 80 asks, and the 2 no's were because they weren't a match. They weren't willing to be as vulnerable as I was asking them to be in the book. Now, previous to that, I had asked a lot of famous people to be in projects with me and been told no by the best in the world. Over and over again, I was told no by the best. But this time, on the other side of Sid asking, listen, I downloaded a way that was a yes for everyone that I asked. So these are the things that are absolutely available when we tap into that part of us that knows the answer to every question before we even ask it. We know this answer because the way that my angel explained it is, everything is energy, right? God is energy, the energy back of everything that created everything. God is that, and we are made up of that stuff. And then we said, hey, I'm really bored. It's all harp music all the time. It's all light all the time. I want to play in a different way. So I want to drop into this body, and I want to experience all emotions in different ways. I want to experience all these different emotions in a body and see what that's like. And so the way that he said is, just because we took the energy and formed it into this thing that we call a body does not mean that we are now disconnected from the energy that we were created from. That we do have a direct connection to it. We are connected to it. We're made up of it. We're made the image and likeness of it. We have that divine connection, and so we just need to sit and ask and listen. So we'll get into this even more in the workshop later. So the question is, for us to get to where we just are walking and talking and knowing and demonstrating, and there isn't that doubt, and there isn't that little monkey mind, or I call it the little liar voice, right? Because it never tells the truth, it only tells me lies, right? In order to just be walking, talking, and demonstrating that, what are the things that we can do to get from that A to Z? And we know what they are because we're hearing about them all the time in the spiritual center, right? That's meditation, that's prayer. I have a few that I like to do is called notice and keep track. So when you ask that question and you're waiting for the answer, write it down and then take that question out into the world. Because not everybody has 2 weeks to sit around and wait for one answer, right? We got stuff to do. However, if we ask the question and then decide to stay in that one question and then go out into the world with that one question, and then when we receive the answer to that question, write that down. Keep that all in a manifestation journal. Write down what we asked and what we received and when we manifest, and keep track of all those. So keeping track and notice and keeping track is really the key to believing. It's the key to reprogramming that subconscious mind and getting yourself from A to Z. So it's this baby steps, these tools that we have so readily available to us to use. And so there, as Ernest said, there's a power greater than us in the universe, and tools, and we can use them. It's so powerful, so magical. That statement that he said, it just always has stuck with me. So the question is what are we willing to do? How far are we willing to go to be all the things that the master teacher said were true, to manifest that, to be so manifesting that everybody is like, what are you doing? Whatever you're on, I want some of that. What is that? Because you're happy instead of miserable. Because you're manifesting, you say things and they come true and people notice it. That's the dream. That's the goal. That's what I'm living for. And so 30 years ago, when my purpose was revealed to me, I was told I would write a book called Walking with My Angels. So not my title was given to me. It was 32 years ago. And so
I didn't hear it
So I had that title, and then I was given my next step in an out-of-body experience of what the next thing I should do at a campfire with all these, like Jesus was there, and there were other avatars, and there were ancestors of mine. Everybody was there, and they all told me what I was here to do on this earth. And they gave me my next step. And so I just did that next step. And so over the years, I kept remembering like what that one told me. And then that was my next step. And what that person told me. And that was my next step. And so I've just been living and doing exactly what I've been told. And then finally, I heard it's time to write this book. And that was 28 years later. A long wait to write that book that they gave me the title of, by the way. At 28 years, finally they said it's time to write the book. And so I stepped into action. I wrote the book. And so then, okay, the book's written, it's in editing. What's the next step? So they told me to book a year-long tour to go out and teach people how to connect to their inner guidance system. How to truly connect to that inner guide. The part of you that knows the answer to every question before you ask it. How to get tapped into that. And so I'm on the road for the next year being in that ministry, in that service. What I've been told that I need to do. And so we've been in California for a little over a month now, and we'll be traveling all over the world. And that's what I'll be doing. So again, I call them angels. What you call them is the perfect thing. Because as long as what you call them gets you into being a walking, talking demonstration, again, they don't care what you call them as long as you call them. So please close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and repeat after me. I am that I am.
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 I am that.
I am.
I am.
I am.
All there is God.
All there is God.
God is all there is,
God is all there is.
and so it is.
And so it is.
And so let us pray. So we take this breath together, knowing that God is all there is. That God is all of those qualities that we've heard of all over the years. God is love. God is manifestation. God is prosperity. And the good news is, because we're made up of that stuff, and we are indeed that, we are all of those qualities too. We are love. We are abundance. We are any positive quality that we can even think of or imagine in our mind. We are that. I am that I am. And I absolutely know this is the truth for me, and I know it is the truth for every God in this room. Right now, if there's somebody who is normally here on a Sunday and they're not here with us right now, bring them to mind and send them love. Send them this energy that we have created today. If there's someone you know that has the appearance of illness, has received a diagnosis, bring them to your mind right now and send them healing light. Send them your love and the energy that we've created together right now. Now take you and visually in your mind's eye put you sitting right in front of you. And see yourself right now in a way that you've never seen yourself before. See the beauty in you. See the beautiful light that you are and the gift that you have been to so many. And just give yourself a hug and thank you for all that you've done for so many in your beautiful life. It is all God, and God is all there is. Right here in this very room, as me, as you. This breath that we take right now together. This is what God is. So thank you for being the gift of you. And thank you, God, for showing up as us, with us, through us. We just want to be in this most grateful place, and thank you for all the gifts that you have given us and continue to give us and will continue to give us as we sit, ask, and listen. And so I speak this word knowing that every word that I speak comes true, but only every time when I really keep track of it. When you start to write down those things and do what I encouraged you to do, and write down all the times that you are manifesting what you ask for, be it positive or seemingly negative, manifesting it all the time, but only every time. I speak this word knowing that it comes true from a so grateful place. Together we say, and so it is.